We will try to check how exploratory testing look like, how to get defects while you don't have a detailed requirement. We will try to apply some concept of exploratory testing on this site. This is an online site, a shopping site. It sells mobiles and tablets, laptops, electronic items. We will just prove for you how easy to find defects. We will try to break down the functions that we see on the site. So we will think in it like login, register, my card, contact us, checking after sale, checking Raya Elite. Every one of those is sub-item and need to be checked. So we might write this down for later to know what we have checked and what we have missed, assuming that all of those are in scope. Also, you can view the site in Arabic and in English. This is also need to be checked. We have search, we have a lot of links for a lot of categories of items. Let's try to find some bugs in register. We will create a new account, first name, last name. We will add all fields except the fields we need to check. We will do it incorrectly. If you noticed, it told us that mobile number is invalid. The system should not accept this form details because it has a validation. Note that the validation is not for the mobile number. The validation is for my name is duplicate. It accepts now the mobile number, which is still invalid. We will leave it the same. So it accepts the invalid mobile number. This is a defect for sure. Now we are logged in. Let's check profile details. The birth date has some invalid formatting. The mobile number, first name, last name is not saved, and we have entered them for sure. Birth date have formatting issues. Let's try to add invalid format for the date. This is totally wrong. Let's try another test. Okay, everything is accepted. Invalid person name, invalid mobile. This is very critical for the sites, the info that you enter, because they need it for analysis later. So we have two issues here, birth date and mobile number. Regardless, the issue that the first and last name did not, and the mobile wasn't saved the first time. So this is called a validation test. We are not checking, we didn't check for now the functionality, how to buy, how to purchase from the site. Let's check another thing. Just out of your mind, that from your experience with websites you have interacted with, we are just exploring the site. Let's try to buy a mobile phone. Let's pick S3 and add it to cart. So even we cannot purchase. This is a critical defect. If you cannot buy an item because there is unexpected error on the site, so even the main function for the site is blocked. Let's try another thing other than buying. This is a live site. Let's try the search. We expect to get Samsung S3 or anything that has S3 in its name, and you have categories also. Great. Let's try new handsets. Let's try to compare two items. Okay, it has the functionalities. Okay, let's try to remove one of them. Nothing happened. This is another defect. Even if it doesn't accept less than one item, it should tell me this. Okay, that's a defect for sure. Let's try another function. There is a function called newsletter. Add to newsletter or subscribe to newsletter. So if there is any new notification, you should be alerted by mail. So let's add an email. What we expect that when you add an email and press submit, it tells you you have been or you are subscribed correctly. If you add the same mail, you should get an error. This is already subscribed. That's good. Let's try to unsubscribe the mail successfully. Second time it should give me error. It's successfully already. So this is a wrong validation, a missing validation that this mail is not with us anymore. Or it didn't remove it from the subscribe database the first time. Let's try just browsing some static pages. Let's try after sale, add any receipt number. Let's try to paste. We are trying to add text. Let's try to paste text. That's good. He's removing any text. Of course, if we have another details, we should have a better test. Try to checking the maintenance centers. That's good. Let's try my points. Enter anything in the account number. Let's try another one. Good. In the real test, you might have something called test data. So you have some accounts, you have some national IDs to check with. Let's try to switch to Arabic. In the Arabic version, you should not have anything in English. Everything should be Arabized. This text is wrong finding. Let's try the compare. We have 3 items. Let's try to remove something from here. The display, the layout is incorrect. It's out of the borders of the table. That's a defect, yes, GI defect. The results are in English. That's not correct. Let's try to remove from here. That's not correct. So this is generally some defects we found on a live system. Try to do some tests for yourself. You'll find a lot. This is a sample for a predefined test case that Utest or BugFinders might give you. It will be just like this. maybe some minor differentiation. You will be requested to enter your name, your environment, let's say iOS 6, iOS 6 Plus, Android 4.4, Galaxy S3, whatever, and the date you have done the test. Maybe you also requested to add the duration for testing, and you will have some steps. It will tell you go to the site, for example google.com, and the expected result to be, for example, for the first step, site opened successfully. If there is any test data needed, you will be provided with test data like username, password, account number, things that you can't create for yourself. They should provide you with this. It might be here and it might be in the cycle overview. We will see the cycle overview in the next video. Cycle overview for Utest and for BugFinders. The actual result, what you found actually, might match the expected result and it might not. If it matches the expected result, you add it here and you make the status as passed. If it didn't match, you also write the actual result here and you make the status as failed. And you add a defect in the platform. We will see later how to do this. And you add the defect ID here. Same for all steps. Mainly, you cannot add a duplicate defects. So what if we have 20 testers and all of them have found the same defect? The first one who write it is the one who will get paid for it. So a tip for Utest and BugFinders, start early. Once you get the invitation for the cycle or for the project, go for it. Don't wait. Who add it first, who get paid. Also, if there is a defect and this defect is found on multiple environments and they accept to add the defect on multiple environments, and this happens a lot. So you had this defect, this function is not working correctly on iOS or iPhone, and another one have the same issue in Galaxy S3. If the environment is totally different, you can add another defect that this function is not working in that way in your environment. But if you have an iOS and another one have an iOS and he wrote it first, you cannot write it. If you wrote it, it will be marked as duplicate. Your rating will be list after some duplicates. This is another type of test case called exploratory. This is the same format and input and data and info needed, but here you are filling everything. You are adding the steps you have just came up with and what expected result you expected and what this data you used and the actual result, and you have found a defect or not and the status of this scenario or this step. We have here some defect samples. I will provide this Excel sheet with the content of the course. So let's see, this is how the defect should look like. This is a defect for a site other than the site we checked. This is an online site, a live site. All those defects are functional. There is no harm on the site if I share those defects with you. Okay, so check this one. Check how the title should be written. Check how the bug description should be written. How the expected result, how the actual result should be written. What's the defect category? What GI means? GI means that this defect affects only the interface. The function will go right, but the interface is not right. Maybe it's spelling mistakes, maybe it's misplaced photo, maybe the flash is not working correctly, but it has no functionality issue. So this is a GUI issue. If you are working on a tablet and you have a mobile app that works very good on the landscape but in the portraitscape it has GUI issues, graphical user interface issues. You have issues showing the application, but all the functionality works right. So whatever defects like that, it's a GUI issue. And you can press attachments to see what attachments are attached to the defects. So we have about 47 defects here. Go through it. In the demo, we made some exploratory testing. We explained predefined and exploratory test case. We attached a lot of defect examples. For the Jing using and the mobile logs, please check those links. Those links have full tutorials. Also, Utest have something called Utest courses or Utest University. Those are Utest explaining to you how to use and what is mobile logs and how to extract them. Also, they have a lot of courses in a lot of testing fields. Try to check them.